romanticized than that. Um, I think we've got at least our whisper list set up. We've got everything set up. We know what we have to do.
Do you have
Of course,
call names? Like, does the Force Command, I know you all have your names, but did you have a name like Mother and Home Command or stuff like that, no? Because you should. Because that makes comms 10 times more interesting.
Mongoose, nice man.
Oh, well, yeah, kind of.
Personally, I know how Connery are. Cobalt's far more different from that. I think the furthest we'll go for call signs is to call one guy wanker, the other guy pisser, and that's about it. We're Europeans that way.
Our call signs is legitimately Platoon 1, Platoon 2, Platoon 3,
Oh,
and
my
so
dear.
on.
Oh
Yeah,
dear.
we keep it simple.
Keep it simple, my word.
Keep
But
it
okay.
simple, stupid.
Okay. But anyway, I just hope we could give you an entertaining match, that's for sure. I remember Connery in pre-season, and that was my first experience in Server Smash.
To be fair, though, that was a completely different format where points were based around facilities. Now it's a territory war, so it'll be interesting to see the outcome in this match.
Yeah, I know, this is kind of like, as one guy put it a couple of weeks ago when they heard about Cobalt versus Connery, this may be payback for long ago. Who knows? Maybe we get revenge.
All right,
maybe
I've
we
got
don't.
a final bit just to ask. Rick, is there something in particular that we should be looking out for you for this match? Something that you're going to surprise us with? That not strategy-wise, but just some interesting thing that we might want to look for.
I would say people look out for it. If they're surprises,
Has
they're surprised. I
anyone
have no
paid
idea.
station cash for camos and like stuff? And have they got their bottles on standby?
I've got my pumpkin hat.
Because this happened last week and surprised me that people paid station cash to look fabulous.
If they want to look fabulous, they can look fabulous all they want. I mean, I would love it if Sesui actually gave us everything for free, but then, you know. Who knows?
What
maybe
about you,
we'll get.
Pedro?
Well, maybe we'll.
Pedro, what about you? Any surprises that we should look out for that are non-strategy related? Just something interesting to look for? Patty?
Not so much. More of just we'll be running a slightly different format than I think anybody has quite yet in terms of force allocation. So it'll be interesting to see. It's either going to work out really well for us or it's going to be a total failure. So we're kind of putting a lot on the line in terms of experimenting with this, and hopefully you see it come to fruition in this match.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, guys. Do you have any final words for each other before you start?
I would say to the Yanked, don't hate on me because I'm from Seychelles and we're colonial cousins, but seriously, have a good match. Have a great match, and I hope we kick some ass. I'm not involved in it, but I hope we kick some ass.
Yep, best of luck to you guys, and we're going to do everything we can to not let you get any revenge today.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you very, very much. And thank you, Poonanners, for being our interviewer today. It was much appreciated.
You got it.
We're going to move off to our referee speech now, just to explain the rules, and then we'll do a little bit of meta talk with me, Redlin, and then we'll move into our game. We've got about 10 minutes before we start.
Alright.
Alright, on you go, Justicia.
Alright. This is Justicia speaking on all call. I will be the game referee for this match. Please pay careful attention. I will just go over the match rules, which all participants should have been informed about already. The game referee has a final say in all matters of the event. All concerns during the event should be brought to the attention of your server rep. Server reps will then bring their matters to me. Today's server reps for Cobalt are Fuzzbucket and for Connery Yon V. The game referee is responsible for timekeeping, and the final result is also the responsibility of the game referee. Today's objective is to capture as much of M-Range as possible within the 2-hour time limit. The winner is the server with the most territory at the end of these 2 hours, as determined by the in-game territory control graph. There is no overtime. There are no immediate gameplay restrictions, so play the game as it's meant to be played. However, there is one base out of play, Rockslide Outlook. The terminals and turrets at this outpost have been destroyed. You can use the territory and traverse it, but the point may not be captured. If after 2 hours both sides own the same percentage of territory, which is technically possible, we have a tiebreaker for Emmerich. This tiebreaker is that the side who owns the majority of the following 3 bases wins: NC Arsenal, The Ascent, and Tumas Tech Plant. Again, this tiebreaker only occurs if both sides own the same percentage of territory. If one side has more than the other, they win. Every player should also have their character number listed before their name on TeamSpeak. So for example, if your character is Silversmash TR 316, you should put the number 316 in front of your TeamSpeak name. A very important point, please do not delete any characters from the account you have been given. If you delete a character, the character cannot be recreated with battle rank and search by us. You will also not be given another account, and you and your outfit may face further consequences. Report any problems with your characters or accounts to your server rep so we can keep track. Thank you. All participants are required to remain on the continent of Emmerich during the entire match. You may not leave to a different continent for any reason. There is no reason to anyway. If you have account problems or need to be replaced, contact your server rep. Reserves, you must check in with your server rep before subbing into the game. Cheating, using exploits, hacking, or any real-life enemy sabotage will disqualify your entire outfit and may impact your outfit's participation in future hosted events. The match will start at the full hour and you will receive a countdown notice on all call from me. You are not allowed to leave the warp gate until the match starts. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you, Justicia. It's much appreciated. Right, so we got a few minutes that we need to talk about a few things, Redland, and then we'll play the little intro video, and then we'll have Justicia call start about 7 minutes and 20 seconds roughly. So, looking at the map of Amherst, right? This is kind of like, how do you handle this? What do you do? Where do you go?
I think that, first of all, with Amherst, there are more lanes. That's kind of what we do with this tournament. We start off with the smallest number of lanes on Ezimir. We wind up with the largest number of lanes on Hassan. But it's a little deceptive on Amherst. You really kind of have 3 major areas with their lanes. You have the north, you have the middle with the mountain, and you have the south. And it really depends what warp gate you're coming from and where you want to try and push.
Right.
Going through that mountain is hard. It's hard to get the ascent, it's hard to get Raven's Landing, and then on top of it, whether you're coming, depending on which warp gate you're coming from, you still have to go through an incredibly difficult base in the Bastion or Araxis Firearm Corps to get through there. So is that where you place a lot of your forces? I saw Connery do that in their last match where they tried really hard to push through there and it didn't work out so well for them. Whereas there are a little bit weaker lanes. Both the far north and the far south lane are a little bit weaker. There's single cap point bases. You can kind of push along and get more territory. And then, of course, obviously, there's the tech plant. And we've seen multiple...
That lovely interdiction play at Tumas Cargo Facility,
yes,
which has a lovely upper raised platform that they can basically prevent anyone from getting to. And then, if you can hold that for 4 minutes, which is what they did, they got the tech plant for free, which was not criminal, but it was very impressive. I guess you're right. In the north, you got the extra lanes. This fighting goes on there. NC Arsenal's relatively neutral. Raxicon Network Hub is a nice kind of neutral base between the Bastion and the Crux headquarters. People would say Bastion's probably an easier base to defend than Crux headquarters is. Both of them are large outposts. The Ascent, because the new conglomerate team on the eastern side, that being Cobalt, can't go through Rockside Outlook, it becomes a standard fight in the middle, where Bastion goes into Lithcorp Central and Raxis Firearms goes into... Oh, it's not Nethermore, it's Raven's Landing. So, and then of course you have the Ascent, and both teams would naturally come up, and we should see some cave fighting going on in the A capture point. I love it when that cave fighting happens. And then coming down to the south, in the southern lane, kind of the mid-south, we have the Skylance battery against Tumas Cargo Facility going into the tech plant. Both teams relatively have the same, advantage, disadvantage, is whether or not Connery can outsmart Cobalt by getting to Tumas Cargo Facility and cause some interdiction. And then, of course, on the southern lane, we have Barrack Electrical being neutral and a bunch of single cap bases all the way. But while we would say that the western warp gate probably has a slightly stronger advantage in the north with the Bastion and the way the base layout is between Lithcorp Fortress and North Growth Post, in the south, the eastern warp gate has 2 extra large outposts. It has Araxis Firearms Corp, which is a massive block if they lose the centre or the tech plant, and they also have Granite Valley Garrison, preventing any push in the further in the south. So they could lose territory in the south, but with the large outposts so close to each other, they could apply pressure elsewhere on the map. So these are interesting things that we can look for. Right, so
That tech plant lane really reminds me a lot of the Rime Analytic Matherson's Triumph lane on Esamir. You have the ability to interdict. You have if you lose a really easy to defend base, one side has a lot more weakness than the other does. It's the asymmetricalness of that lane allows for a lot of different options from both sides, frankly.
Right, so we have 4 minutes to game start, so I will play our little intro video, which we saved. You guys have seen it all before, but we'll just play the intro video, and then we'll do the last kind of countdown, talking about what's going on, and then we'll go into our game start, so we'll be right back.
Where we come from, we each fight for loyalty, for freedom, or perhaps enlightenment, but not here. Here we cast aside our disparate beliefs, our barriers and preconceived notions, and band together as a global force to engage in some of the largest competitive battles this world has ever seen. We are the squads, the platoons, the empires and servers, full of players coordinating a complex game of strategy and tactics. This is where combined arms happens. This is where war comes to play. This is Server Smash.
Right, we are back, server rolling again. That's I love that intro, and we've updated it with the kind of graphics at the end, so that was good work there for Redland for doing that for us. So a few other things we're going to talk about. To follow the score in the game, we have some stats and graphs. We have our scoreboard, we have the ticker on the top, which you guys can follow, and that has the the team names and the clock and whatnot. But we also have the slider bar at the bottom. This will give you information when a base is defended or captured, and this progress bar will move back and forth, and the neutral territory, that being TR today, will kind of squeezed out, and then it'll just be the two factions moving back and forth. We also have our total kill count, which is in gold, total deaths, total TKs, and then we have faction color specific. So we have Connery, which is purple, and Cobalt, which is blue. So we'll see their kill deaths and TKs. And then throughout the battle, we'll bring up some leadership stats, which we'll get. And at the moment, these are just these will be faction colored. As I refresh here, I'll just do that now. There we go. So we can get some faction colors and whatnot. We'll have weapons. I'm expecting to see the Orion. I'd be very surprised if we don't see the Orion, and some AV grenades and some C4. Any weapon you think we'll see, Redland?
I don't know. I want to see a jackhammer up there.
And we got vehicles stats as well. So that's the leaderboard stats. A kill graph, those will be in the thousands. We'll watch two different colors going off there. And we have a map timeline. And the map timeline will kind of give us a feeling of what bases are flipping and when. So it's things that we can bring up during the game. But we've got about 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. So, I mean, any last thoughts, Redland, before we go into this?
I'm just interested to see how the opening happens. I think the East Gate has an interesting ability to wait on their opening. No other map allows this. They can wait to see where Connery puts their forces and then hammer them.
East Gate can't afford to wait for Tomb's cargo facility, though. I think they have to go there as quick as possible. And
is Justicia channel to give the counts?
He is indeed in the channel.
I'm here, yeah.
And on stream, and I mean we got a little delay, we can see this. There is actually a defense locator marker that's already been placed by the VS, because my character's VS. I think Connery is going to put some emphasis on Tuma's cargo facility.
Alright, I will start the 30-second countdown in 10 seconds.
Apart from that, we can expect to see probably Connery going for North Grove Post, since it's such an easy base for them. Who goes for Rex?
Just on all call, all players. The match will start in 30 seconds. Get ready to start in 30 seconds. Do not leave the warp gate yet.
Your timing's a little off for me. I am on 15 right now, but I'll let you do the call.
Alright, everybody, get ready. There are 12 seconds left.
That's a quick jump. Everyone chants like, we've got 30 seconds. Oh wait, we've got 12 seconds. Oh my god.
Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, go, go, go.
We are live and are watching Connery's Air Force of Scythes leaving the warp gate, and they're splitting into two teams, one team going north, one team going south.
Looks like the same is happening with the NC. There is a large force of Reavers headed towards the tech plant area as well.
See, this looks so cool in the minimap. I know we're not supposed to nerd about this too much, but it does kind of feel like a scene from Battlestar Galactica with all the Cylons going towards one direction.
There are
Yeah,
a lot
it's
more
exactly
spread
right.
out
And the
vertically.
North Force exactly is already engaging with Scythe up north. And
Oh, this force of Scythes are going straight for Tuma's cargo facility.
I think Connery learned something from Emerald. They're going to try and do the same thing.
We're going to watch this now. The fact is there a Cobalt force coming in for Tuma's cargo facility?
They're coming, but I don't know.
They are, but they're like 3 or 4 seconds behind. They're just going to do a Bale Wars right now. No one's going to fight. They're just dropping. Here they go.
Cobalt was just behind, but it looked like equal forces to me that engaged, and Cobalt left some people up. Cobalt sent an entire extra squad forward to the tech plant.
Oh, I don't believe it. Cobalt. Where's Cobalt going? They're going to the tech plant. What?
They bypassed the cargo facility. They didn't actually drop on cargo facility. They went straight over to the tech plant.
Oh, they're. Oh my god. They're. Oh, okay, so I see what's going on. Basically, Cobalt's gone for the tech plant on the assumption that they would just get the point flip on Tuma's cargo facility, which hasn't happened. They flew right over them. No one realized they could have stopped and dropped out. Now we've got a huge, and I mean huge force set up at Tuma's cargo facility on the upper platform, just like happened last time. I say huge, we can check the minimap as we zoom in. It's enough to be a right nuisance. The entire force that dropped with, oh, they're pulling galaxies? Well, this is interesting. So they've hacked the terminals. Are they going to come back? Well, we have to see what Cobalt does here. Their
Cobalt
interdiction
has
force
gotten
at
on the
Skylands didn't
point
work
at
yet.
Barrack Electric, and they have what looks like a squad, perhaps, on the point at Barrack Electric. However, Connery has air and multiple Sunders up, and they're already starting to try and pour in here.
Where's this galaxy going?
Cobalt air up in the north is beating out the Connery air.
That's good to hear.
Connery is also interdicting at what is now called Nevermore, but it means Raven's Landing. So Connery beat Cobalt to both Tuma's Cargo and Raven's Landing.
Oh, you're right. So that's some strong interdiction going on there by Connery. Just giving them, and the important reason is this gives them more time on Tuma's cargo tech plant. Now, ultimately, doesn't matter so long as in the first 4 minutes Tuma's cargo facility cap can start, because, well, first 3 minutes, because of the way the tech plant works, and it's a 7-minute base capture. So they still have time, but it's precious. They need to respond.
I am at Raven's Landing, and the majority of these VS at the point here are wielding shotguns. I think they want to teach the NC some of their own men.
Oh, they were so close. That one heavy assault nearly flipped the base, and then the infiltrator runs in. He's got the base. That's it. All the NC can leave. The VS, no point being here because you can't do anything else. You might as well redeploy and spawn in at the Sunders you've got at Tuma's cargo facility. That's the force that's currently at Nevermore or in Raven's Landing. As for Barrack Electrical, we'll go have a look there.
Where was the main battle tank fight, Lanzer?
The main battle tank fight is up in NC Arsenal, which is also.
Oh, we'll be there in 1 second.
Anti-air.
And that looks like it's a even pop
They
fight.
are pounding each other.
Cobalt's got the cap point on Barrack Electrical, but there's far more Connery outside on Barrack
Five
Electrical.
riders in the Vanguard.
Coming over to the tank fight. Ooh, a little bit too fast.
As good as Connery's
Lots
doing
of
in the south,
halberds, lots of AP.
as good as Connery's doing in the south, Cobalt is doing as well in the north. They are unopposed at Araxicom Network Hub, and they are taking North Grove Post, and they're making it a fight at NC Arsenal.
We do see the NC Armor Force.
They're getting overrun by the Vanguard. You can still see up good of the AA Sundays, but that's really all that's left now. The Connery armor.
Gonna fix my camera here.
That was a fun fight to watch. Lots and lots.
Well, Ender just flipped, so fingers crossed, no more alerts.
It didn't lock the continent though. So
The problem is these Vanguards, they're all AP. They've got halberd AP. They're not designed to take on infantry. They need some really sniper-esque shots to kill off any of these VS forces on the hillside. And realistically speaking, these Vanguards should just push around. I mean, they might not realize that they're here. Push around and pick off the two Sunders. That would seriously help their cause, and killing off any of the Vanu spawns at NC Arsenal. As for the actual base itself,
They got destroyed as soon as they rounded them.
well, First Blood is.
Cobalt had North Grove Post, but Connery just got back on the point, but Cobalt is doing a massive max scratch with multiple, coming out of multiple Sunders that they just deployed. We're going to see if Connery can hold here. The point is in a very interesting location in this powerhouse building. It's out in the hallway, which is not normally.
Say North Grove Post?
Yes.
Doesn't look like it's coming to anything.
I think Connery, I see a Valkyrie outside that's dropping mines on the NC Sunderers and just took it out.
That's dangerous. I mean, that's ballsy, but it's dangerous, because if you get shot while throwing that mine, it blows you up. It happened to me the other day. One of my passengers on the Valkyrie were throwing mines out, and somebody just shot him with a minigun and blew up all 6 people in the Valkyrie.
The NC don't have a spawn close anymore, but they have managed to push Connery off of the point. This is going to be a tug of war here. Connery still has a Sunderer at North Grove, which I don't believe the NC do.
Correct. Right, now as far as the south is going, the tech plant is already flipping now for the American Connery force on the Vanu, right? So we see that 6 minutes 20. 2 minutes cargo facility, there's more Cobalt trying to force their way in, so we're going to go there next. But look at this, there's 12:24. There's at least a squad of NC, there's at least a squad of Cobalt at the tech plant. What the bleep? There's no reason being there. You can do nothing. You are nothing but a detrimental drain to your team. You should come back at Tumas cargo facility and you should help out here because they need the assistance. We can see the point is briefly flipping. There's a PPA, oh god, PTSD, PPA harasser on the point, making extremely good work holding the front door. We saw briefly in the minimap there's a huge Cobalt force outside just wanting to come in. But so far, critically, this Connery force is holding the point, and they've got a Sunder on top of the harasser, and all they need to do is hold this for the 3 minute 59 second marker on the tech plant. That's all they need, which is about 1 minute and 30. So I mean, this is pretty close stuff here. It's deceptive because they might not pay attention, but Cobalt has to realize the urgency that they really only have about a minute, unless, and if they don't get here in a minute, they will lose the tech plant for free.
Has all 3 points owned by Cobalt right now. Connery is trying to push into A, but they have not managed to gain a foothold.
Yeah, the Cobalt definitely has the upper hand as far as air goes. Connery is used to doing guerrilla warfare with battle gallows.
It's just not enough infantry for Cobalt. They're so close. They're on the point. Right, here comes the fight. You guys need to run to the point. Just run to the point. Go, go, go. Run, run. Now don't kill off the enemy. Run to the point. This is a different from stunner mechanics. There we go, infiltrators going for the point. Are they going to flip it? No, they got picked off. The point is still neutral. The time is critical. And what's the base? 4 minutes 33 seconds they're on the point. Okay, so that is a huge benefit compared to last time. They managed to get the capture point. This base will go through in 4 minutes. The Connery force cannot stop this hack, which means this entire Cobalt force, the entire force, can now go to Tumas tech plant facility, and the goal is to kill off every single spawn, every vehicle, everything that the Cobalt force has, because they'll have an extremely sweet time window of about 13-14 seconds right at the very end to actively capture the base. Now conversely, Connery they don't need to be at the tech plant defending the point for the next 4 minutes or 3 minutes and so they can spend all their resources to push out and keep the Cobalt force away from the capture point outside the base without being inside.
Interestingly, the NC Arsenal, there's a significantly larger force of Cobalt here than there is Connery, and Connery cannot seem to get a point. It is now 2 minutes away from the NC Arsenal. This looked to be an even pop fight at the beginning, and it is no longer. I don't know if Connery has moved people away or what, but this looks like it is going in Cobalt's favor.
Get the first set of spawn-ins for Cobalt. They're using galaxies to ferry in. That's 2 whole squads, possibly a third with an extra galaxy. Possibly they're using their galaxies for squad deploying or squad spawning in. They're going to keep their gals, and this way they can just ferry their squads around. They've got Reaver support on the tech plant at Tumas. Oh, hello, gal. And
electrical is also interesting. Connery outpops Cobalt there, but Cobalt owns the point, and it is.
Well, that's gone back and forth. That base was almost a Cobalt base, and then it was almost a Connery base, and now it's gone back again.
There's an entire platoon of Sunderers here for Connery outside. I wonder if they were all caught in vehicles in the stock.
So we're going to go back to the NC Arsenal, but one last thing I want to mention is that Lithcorp was interdicted by a Cobalt force for a brief moment of time, and the ascent is ticking down with only a Cobalt force, but it's not enough to guarantee them a free ascent.
It looks like Connery. Yeah, it looks like Connery moved all of their forces out of the middle.
Connor's trying to reclaim the NC Arsenal.
Connery is trying to reclaim the NC Arsenal. Yeah, it looks like Connery moved all of their forces out of the middle. Connery is trying to reclaim the NC Arsenal. Yeah, it looks like Connery moved all of their forces out of the middle.
All 3 capture points, you're right. All 3 capture points at NC Arsenal are being held by Cobalt. In terms of population at NC Arsenal, there's a small overpope of 56%, but that doesn't excuse not having a capture point. Looks like most of Connery's forces are outside in vehicles, Mag Riders, Lightning, Skyguards, and Sunderers. The actual force pushing to the capture point doesn't look like they're anywhere close to getting a capture point, and with 60 seconds to go, it's going to be exponentially bad, even if they do get a single point.
I don't really understand what's going on with Cobalt's air. They seem to just flying around, ignoring everything that's going on below them.
Well, we have some of Cobalt's air taking down a galaxy of Connery.
Well, when they found Connery, they beat out Connery air. The Connery air pretty much lost. But the Cobalt air is ignoring any sort of strafing. They're just flying above as like a sentry.
Which base is this happening?
Everywhere, actually, but around NC Arsenal, North Grove. They're just kind of flying
they
above.
are not. No, they are doing ground pounding outside of Barrack Electric.
Yeah, and they're also doing ground pounding now. I can see them at NC Arsenal. We're seeing a couple of air hammers. What's this galaxy up to?
Yeah, I've seen a few here and there, but for the most part, they seem pretty docile, and I don't know what's going on.
What are these guys up to?
There's at least 24 Reavers that are doing nothing but killing Sunders outside of Barrack Electrical right now. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't help them get the point back, which is currently easily held.
Oh, they got themselves Charlie Point. I mean, that's something. They've stalled it by another 30 seconds. Now they critically need to get... Oh, that's okay. We've got a big infantry push going for A. Connery is trying to get them A. Cobalt just needs to hold on for 20 seconds. This is huge. The fact is Connery needs to get this point, and they can stall this base out so much longer. Cobalt gets it. It is a massive positional play in the north. And it doesn't look like there's enough infantry for Connery. Cobalt gets the base. Right, in the south, the tech plant. Right, there we go. We need to get there quickly. Now Cobalt can interdict. With 30 seconds to go, they can now do something on the tech plant. And we're at the tech plant. Who is on the point? Looks like Connery is still on the point. Cobalt only had a 30-second window to do something at the point. They're applying pressure. We can see them on the mini-map. They're trying to come up the staircase, but they have had 4 minutes to prep this attack. That's Cobalt has had 4 minutes to do something about this attack, or get ready for a mega push on the last 30-second window, and they haven't pulled it off. They could have sat and done nothing. They could have gone to a completely different base for 4 minutes, so long as they came back here in that 30-second window, and they didn't. So we need to find out what they were doing there, or where they were. Perhaps they were... In fact, they've also lost Barrack Electrical, so that force at Tumas Cargo could have assisted in the south rather than going for the tech plant, but they didn't. So now we have a fight over the tech plant, which is still good for Cobalt. You know, they have the cargo facility. Actually, the cargo facility is going back. That's like a ghost cap. But it does mean that they have a significantly harder time of taking this base because it was 7 minutes. The SCU generator hammer's going down. That could be a big plus if they could make sure it stays down.
In the north, it looks like Connery has sent more people, and they are now pushing along into Moss Ravine, and they're also trying to take back NC Arsenal as well. Although Cobalt is sending galaxies in to try and get both of these back.
So the Tumas Tech Plant's SCU is down, however the shields are up because of the timer of the base. Now that's the problem is that there needs to be a larger Cobalt force picking off all these Sunders because they're a fresh attack force. So they're going to have lots of Sunder spawns. And Cobalt has the unawkward position of defending the SCU without actually being inside the shield. So they have to defend all entry points. Now luckily for them they can fire through the shields to prevent anyone from Connery trying to repair said shield.